Here we are again on Memory Sports TV today with the next competitor of the Memory League World Championship 2024, Don Michael Vickers, the second Canadian in the tournament. And let's see what he thinks about the tournament and his career so far. So welcome, Don, and thank you for being here today.
No, thanks for having me.
Cool, Don. As I said, you are the second Canadian in the tournament. There's Braden. I talked with him just an hour ago. How is your relation in Canada? Do you even meet each other, or are you living too far apart?
Oh yeah, we're way too far. We're on opposite ends of Canada.
Really? So that
Yeah,
means
yeah.
like a 4 hours flight.
Oh, longer, much longer. It's a 4 hour time zone difference. So he's in British Columbia, so that would be like the same time zone as California.
Yeah.
I'm an hour ahead of like New York time, so it's yeah. You couldn't be more further away in Canada than Braden and I really.
So you barely meet each other. Did you meet in a competition in the Canadian Championship?
I haven't met a memory athlete yet. Actually, I
None.
haven't competed. I haven't competed in person yet.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't aware that you did even not have competed in the Canadian Championship, but
Yeah,
that's interesting. So you never met a memory athlete in person yet.
not yet. No.
So you have a lot of comment with our viewers here, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yes.
guess so.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But Don, how? What brought you to memory sports in the first place, and why are you still here?
Well, in the first place, it was naturally. I have a bad memory. You can probably see this when I mess up a grab in numbers or something. My natural memory is not that good. So I was looking for ways to improve it, and was actually I found memory sports during COVID. I was watching that memory Netflix memory games. It was on Netflix. There, you were in it, and I just saw all these people memorizing cards and stuff, and I just kind of stumbled on it, and I didn't really believe that people could memorize a deck of cards. I'm like, no way, this is not true. And then I like looked up how to do it. So I actually started with cards. Was actually the first memory event that I did, which I recommend if you're watching this, don't do that. Start with images or words. But I started with cards, and the first time it took me 10 minutes, but I got better and better, and eventually Braden saw me memorize a deck in 2 minutes. He was like, "This is pretty good." And then he kind of introduced me to memory league and that, and I really enjoyed it and got better.
That I think that's the point. You're enjoying it, right? I mean, people can start with
Yeah,
memory
yeah.
sports and take a look into it, but there must be something else to drive you to become a competitor in the World Championship.
Yeah, no, I'm having a great time with it. I enjoy it, and I think we've talked before. So I'm blind in my right eye, and I used to play hockey a lot, but it wasn't the same for me. Like I'd be like a little bit timid out there once that happens. So this is kind of the way that I can compete now and enjoy myself.
Let's briefly go over your technical stuff, the systems. So for numbers, what system do you actually exactly use?
So for numbers, I've switched from PAO to it's like a combination. Sometimes it's PA, sometimes it's PO. It just depends on what the second set of numbers is. So I switched to just the 2-2. I saw the Japanese do that because at the time I was looking at it and I said, well, maybe I'd be better off with a simpler system and just going faster, right? Because now it's easier to decode for me. And I think that's made a big difference. I think that because when I had the PAO, I was kind of around like the 30s. Now it's low 20s every now and then in training, below 20, but typically I'm kind of in that like 22 range. But that made quite the jump for me. So I just like recognized my own strengths and weaknesses and said, I
Mhm.
think I'd be better off doing something simpler and making that switch.
What does it exactly mean to depending on what the next numbers are? So PA, PO?
Yeah, so sometimes like I don't sometimes it's an action, sometimes it's an object. It's just it's like 26 is an object, 27 would be an action
Ah,
just
okay.
because that's how I designed it.
Okay. So
It
actually
just made it better.
it's a P something system. So it's P
Yeah, it's
and
something, yeah.
okay, P action or P object. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And for cards, what system do you use nowadays?
So I switched to the 4-color deck, and I use person, action, object. I'm still trying to catch up to my previous times, but I'm kind of happy with where that's at because I mean this is about 3 months now, 4 months now with this system. So kind of happy with where that's at actually, because I'm just a little bit behind my old system. The reason I switched from the 4-color deck was a lot of the times I'd be in a match and I'd confuse like the spade and the club. So I just wanted to reduce that error, and this is one way to do it. Because with cards, cards is a little bit trickier for me than numbers because you have to decode two things. You have to decode the number and you have to decode the suit. That's a bit of a challenge for me because I want to go fast. I want to go really fast. So in numbers, I'm able to do that because I just have to go through the one thing. But with cards, a little bit trickier for me. So that's probably my worst discipline right now. So it's something that I want to improve. And my idea was that going with the 4-color deck, I would be able to perceive the difference a little bit faster. I'm still going to give that a bit of time because it's still a newer system compared to what I had. But in the long run, I may even go with something a little bit more complicated because I think when I designed these systems, I was trying to achieve good results as fast as possible, but that might have been probably a poor decision in the long run because maybe I limited my ceiling with that. So something for me to think about, but that'll be after January, of course.
I mean, it looks like your favorite discipline is words. And
oh yeah, I don't think there's any debate about that.
I don't think so. So what is it just a brute force training, or do you change things while training or testing things in words? What is your approach here to become better?
I think basically it is just brute force. So I read a book there a while ago. So it's called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. So essentially the main premise of this book is sometimes our rapid decisions are better than our long thought out ones. So when I came into words, like that was probably my best event when I first started. Like when I was in Division 4, I was able to do like 40. So, but I was looking at like Katie and them, and I was like trying to figure out how to take the next step. And I saw Katie look twice, and I was like, huh. And then like I started training for it. And one day I did do 40 in 30 seconds. I said, all right, well, if I can do 40 and 30, maybe I could do 50 and 60, right? So I just kept going with that. And then I just said, all right, let's just try to get faster and faster. And then like I add some things to it. Sometimes I'll play music. Sometimes I'll do a task in between. Recall and memorization, because one thing I like to do is look at why do we forget things, right? So we forget things because of lack of focus. We forget things also because of a time period. So there's the longer, then it might fade. So that's something I like to do as well. So like just do like a little task, like something not too complicated, and then you delay that recall period. It makes it tougher so that when you're actually in a match, it feels a bit easier. And I'm hoping to hit that sub 20 soon. Like that's really the one thing, because I think that, you know, if I go really hard in training, then it becomes a lot easier in the match when I'm taking the full time.
Yeah, so maybe also attacking, of course, attacking the world record in the Memory League World Championship. I guess that's the goal, is it?
No.
No.
To be honest, no. Just looking at my opponents, you know, they're all the other 15 are really incredible. There will be a time to attack that, maybe in a slam or something. But here, I just want to play to the best of my ability and see what happens. Like if I lose a words game because I do like 46 in 35 seconds, and my opponent does like a 48, I'd be pretty upset with that. So
yeah,
I just want to play to the best of my ability. And then like if I go to like a slam or something and that situation happens, then I will just live with that risk. But for now, I just want to play to the best I can.
interesting. First round, Jan Son. What do you think about your opponent here in the first round? I think you met a couple of times, did you?
Yeah, we played in slams twice. So he's very strong. We all know that. So very excited. Like when I first started watching Memory Sports, I'd see Jan Son. I'd see some of the things like 30 images in under 10 seconds. And I was like, this guy's crazy. So I still think he is crazy. So in a good way, of course. But yeah, you know, Jan's an awesome guy and really talented. So, and that goes back to what I said there earlier. I can't risk going for a world record against this guy because, you know, I just want to do my best to hit a 50. And if he does a 52 and just does it faster, well, I'll just tip my hat. Good job. But I have to play my very best to have any chance to beat that guy.
Sure, yeah. I mean, when I listen to you here right now, it's really like I can feel that you're coming from a sports area here, so that you are into other sports because you're really like talking like someone who is into sports. Say?
And I do think I think that's helped me in some extent, right? Because I mean, if you play like hockey or soccer, you need to have that quick memory. Like you have to forget about, okay, they scored. Okay, on to the next one. And that's sort of the same thing. Oh, I lost cards. Okay, on to the next one.
So how do you balance your training, but also the competitions with your daily life? I mean, you have a job, so how do you do that?
Yeah, and I think this is actually something that kind of impacted me in the last slam when I'm working. So I kind of work a weird schedule, like 20 days on, 10 days off. Not much training when I'm on that time working. So I'll do typically like 30 minutes morning, 30 minutes at night. And sometimes I'll just not train at all. Like I'll take like a day or two off, right? Just to get some rest. Like if I really have if I don't sleep good one day, I'll just say, okay, need to catch up on some sleep. But even now, it's sort of the same thing. Like usually, like even on time off, I don't usually go past 2 hours. I just have a tough time pushing through that. So I actually think that is, and I want to clarify that I did not lose to Simon in the last one because of, I lost to Simon because he's very, very strong, but I didn't play to the level that I wanted to. And I think it was just, I'm not used to memorizing for a long time. So that's something for me to try to fix for if I do compete in person.
Can you share any experience where you felt like this was a moment when you had to overcome a very challenging emotional moment in a competition?
I don't think so. I don't really think a whole lot. Maybe the last one there, I think I had a 49 in words against Islam in the first match. So it was a little bit frustrating. I was more upset at that than I ever was at losing a match. Because I was like, oh, so close. But I was like, all right, I'm on tilt. Like I'm a little bit angry here. So my mind's not 100% on these images. So let's just go take the full time in images and hope he makes an error because I don't think I have my best stuff right now. And then just come back to it.
So you really said, okay, now let's have a short break
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
images here and come down again and then start over, something like that.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Because I knew that the emotions, I was a little bit upset. So I was like, okay, hopefully he makes an error in images. And because I knew I wasn't going to do like a normal result, like 30 and 16 or something like that. So I was just like, all right, so let's.
Yeah, you're also one of the athletes there, not so many, but really show emotions also during the match and always having something on their face. Is it?
I try not to.
Yeah, but
I want to become more like Alex or Simon.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I just think it's better. Like Alex, he looks 100% locked in, and like I said with that other one. I knew I was off in that images game because of what happened in the words game. I have to just move on from those things. So that's something that I want to get better at.
Okay. Do you do any specific training just to train for the intense focus you need during a competition? Do you do anything for that specifically?
Well, one thing I do, and I think I've showed you this, was like sometimes I will just put some music on while I'm memorizing, no earplugs, and I'll just blast some music. And I think this is a good focus drill.
Yeah, you also once I think you competed on the airport, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, that was a 2 a.m. match in an airport.
Okay, so there was no chance to do it differently. Did you win? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was a qualifier match for one of the slams.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But it's I think not something you would recommend to someone else. Or do
No, I was also pretty tired that day, but I just like took like something off. Like images was like 20 seconds compared to like a regular time. So I was just like, all right. But that's something that's something good to know too. Like recognize when you're not in your best form and realize, okay, you're not going to do your average time today.
Friends and family, are they aware of what you're doing? Are they watching your matches?
Yeah, sometimes they watch. Like I had one of my buddies was living with me for for like a month there. Yeah, it was actually after I lost to Simon the first time there in the semifinal. I was like, "Oh, hey man, you did a really good job today." He was just really good, and like I appreciate that. That was cool. Yeah, so they watch sometimes. Yeah, they watched at work once, and I think it was against Yas, and just getting off, and they had watched. And I actually think like my internet cut off at one point during that match. I think it might have been because everybody was watching the stream because we didn't have the best internet there either.
What impact did discovering memory sports, being a memory athlete specifically, had on your life so far?
It's definitely given me a good hobby, but one thing, like to prepare for any presentations or speeches at work, it does come off very nicely, right? It's very easy. I don't like to memorize verbatim for that kind of stuff, but I'll just put the idea in a location and then just go from there and just kind of speak from experience. But having that, it makes it sound good. You know what I mean? When it comes off in a nice flow rather than kind of stumbling.
But maybe also like, I mean, this is a practical part, like, you know, the techniques and you know how to memorize speech or something. But I mean, more like, well, how did it shape you as a person? I mean, you're doing not for too long yet. Others are longer in the sport, but
Yeah.
do you see already any kind of influence on that?
No, not really. Like I can learn things easier and more practically, but outside of that, no, not really. Yeah, I'm probably older than most people who discover it. Like I discovered it at 31, compared to most people probably discovered in their teens or early 20s.
31 is not late, but it's later than most of the people.
Yeah.
How can we grow the sport more? What is your vision for the future of memory sports? Is there any future for memory sports, or will it be dead in, let's say, 2 years?
I think that what we're doing here today is really good. You know, getting to know the athletes, right? Because like I think a lot of people they just watch, but there's nobody to really get behind. You're just kind of like, wow. Maybe kind of explaining, and I think you have done a bit of this. It's just like explaining like what they're doing. Like I do love the things like Andrea does, like ride the bike while memorizing pi and juggling, although he's committing a big safety infraction. So that's not good, Andrea. But no, he's doing really great with that stuff. I saw he hit 100K on YouTube, so I was very happy for that. But I think just getting out there and promoting our sport like Andrea is doing, if we can all do a little bit more of that, we can slowly grow.
100,000 people. Where are they? What are they doing?
Good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question. And yeah, I think that we have to just, it would be good if people understood this. Like, I don't like when people just think, oh, Don's got a photographic memory. That couldn't be anything further from the truth. I don't believe in that. So I think sometimes people do make that misconception, right? That they don't quite understand that this is something that is achievable by anybody.
I also meet so many people who think this is the talent or a gift, a born gift or whatever.
Yeah, no, if I this was like some great gift. I was a good student, but I was not remarkable by any stretch. I was like high 70s, kind of low 80s. Like it was not what people would think, right? So yeah, I think we have to fight that misconception as well. Would be huge.
And next year you want to meet people in person in the memory sports world, I guess.
Yeah, I just got. I'm working on getting my passport, so I'm probably eyeing. I think I'm eyeing Germany, to be honest with you.
Nice. That would be really cool. I mean, would you say you just see the people online and talk to them online? But I think you already made some friends in the memory sports community.
Yeah, absolutely. And be cool to meet some of them. Like, oh man, if I could meet Katie, man, that'd be so cool.
You can meet everyone.
Yourself, Simon. Yeah. There's many. Yeah.
I think you are writing a lot on messengers with for example, with Sayaka, with Evelina, with others as well. So how important for you is this contact to other athletes? Is this more like a bit of fun talk, conversation, or is it also more about learning new skills? What is it? What drives it?
I'd say a bit of both.
Very short answer.
But yeah, no, it would be both. Like sometimes I'm just carrying on, and other times it'll be like, hey, I made this error today. This is really interesting. Why didn't this work out? Or I'll be like, okay, I did this today. It worked better.
Don, thank you very much. Looking forward to see you in the World Championship. Yeah, anything else you want to add?
One thing for like the other athletes out there, one thing I like to do in training is like I'll aim for about 75% accuracy because then I'm pushing myself. So I would rather see like 65 out of 80 in numbers at my PR time than 80 out of 80 at my average time when I'm in training. So I'm just trying to grow. And I think that about 75% is a good level where you're challenging yourself, but it's not too fast that it's just useless. So that's one thing I recommend to people is just train a little bit above what you can do. Right. And that will help you grow.
Don, thank you very much. Any athlete you really want to play in the World Championship? Any wish?
I'm looking forward to Jan. I've never played Mateo before, and that would be a fun challenge. Obviously, he's incredibly talented, so maybe I don't want to play that one so much. But no, I would like to play Mateo, and playing Braden would also be cool in the World Championship. But those would be the two for me. I would like to play Mateo because I've never played him before, and I think that'd be really fun to just go at him in images. But I'd like to play Braden, of course.
Good. Don, thank you very much for your time. It was very nice to have some of your insights here, and good luck for the World Championship.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Anytime, Johans.
Thank you. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.